Hey, the electrical learning speed is accelerating. So this is just a short file share that I share with children because I normally work with children, newborn stars, um, as that relates to a neurological breathing network of analog clocks that are right on time. An analog clock, the log scale, the vector. And so this is how simple it is and why I would take small children for nature hikes. And why is that? Because they're going to learn mathematically, holographically at a higher rate of speed when they spend more time in nature. Because that's what they're doing. They're mapping the mathematical water table, the water column, the spinal column, looking at trees, looking at birds, life force, the life force that is alive, everything that is alive in nature. The mapping the mathematics of nature. Crystal spiral, the Tryon field, chipped beans, and why they were forced marching children into their schools. When I was a child growing up, there was a lot of little terms that we used when you're going to load the English dictionary into your readactive memory. But one of those was what we used to call tunnel vision. I called it tunnel vision. Tunnel vision. The height and width and the axial spin rotation of the wave, spirit in the radio wave. And so if you want to learn at a higher rate of learning speed, then you want to learn through Mother Nature, Mother Earth. And that will increase your spin capacity, which is your mapping speed, because you're learning at a higher rate of speed through Mother Nature. The crystal spiral. The fastest learning speed is God's speed, 3 trillion. 3 spheres logos, 7 gold-mated Rouchet. 90 on the vertical, 90 on the horizontal. And here's something else that I learned when I was a little kid, when I used to go out to the construction sites when they were killing numbers of trees, orange trees at the time and oak trees, in order to do what? Mass production zone. Force marching children into those schools. Load the programs as a battery-operated future potential memory as a battery slave. An electrical battery slave, right? And that would be when I used to play with, measuring. We have a measuring stick. When you don't hold on to one electron to experience no sound, I will detect the loss of one electron in me in no time at all. And that's when you know something's wrong. And that's a wrong way direction. That's a wrong spiral. And so there was a carpenter's level that I ran into, an intersection. And it was, as I remember it, 3 feet long. And it had a circle, a disc on the left, one in the center, and one on the right. And the one on the left was a horizontal tube with a bubble in it. The one on the right was a horizontal tube with a bubble in it. The one in the center had a different orientation, like a gyro neurostereo transmitter and receiver. That was vertical. It was a vertical tube with a bubble. So you see how that works with 3 and the vertical with 45 degrees. So when the vertical at 90, the intersection, right? The axis, the vertical and horizontal axis is 90 on the vertical, 90 on the horizontal. And the spin, the 7 gold-mated one, the 13th, it's right in the center of that intersection. is spinning at the highest rate of speed, then we need a vacuum, a thermal gauge, a thermal holographic interface gauge, gauging the usage rate of cellular activity, of cellular memory-driven programs. Wrong codes. Error code, error code, error code, error code, error code, error code. Reject that one, reject that one, reject that one, reject that one, and you can tie that into whenever you go into one of their war machine factories. What do they do with rejects? They red tag them. That's a defective part. Remember Alcoholics Anonymous, defects of character? What were they really saying? You got to decode the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. That is actually a mathematical reprogramming book. That's why it's coded precisely the way that it's coded. And you can see where they wrote it in English because they standardized that hypertext. They talk about the inverse square root, about proportional waves, and how that relates to what? Serenity, the serenity prayer. Accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And the difference is the torque speed in codes and neurological breathing order codes. The codings, the mathematical electrical codings. To know the coder, who coded the directory, the branch directory, the ISP address, trees, the memories of trees. And so, yes, improvements. Optimal performance, like optical performance. The optical illusions. The optical performance rating. The rate. The mathematical speed ratios. Resetting the cosmic clock. The first clock setter, the first star maker, the first key maker, the key codes, the access codes, the codings, the electrical instructions, the first instructor of elemental integration to experience oneness. Right? I had some very, very powerful experiences last night that were just flowing through me so fast that a lot of it I don't put on camera because it's not going to flow the same way that you experience it when I experience it through my heart as a cosmic level antenna, because it's God. And once I experience it and I acknowledge it for what it is, it's just like if I don't communicate it when it comes to me, it's gone. It's just gone. And I acknowledge the communication, the transmission. The transmission fluid lift capacity, the capacitor, our sensing levels, right? You experience perfect balance, perfect atmospheric balance, structural integrity, spiritual mathematical integrity. It's integration. That integration is oneness, building an integrated system, right? That fires right on time. Neurologically, the breathing order. Breathing is one with the inner core, the inner crystal core. That's why we are here. I know. So I hope you're all feeling better. I know some of my friends in the windows, I make suggestions on what helps, right? And I know that the big one when it comes to being more electric is being calm, the usage rate, and who we're spending time with, you know. That's why I'm blessed to be here, surrounded by trees and plants and birds and bugs, and I'm getting local visits now from butterflies, the sacred butterfly. Flew right by me yesterday, and another one flew by me the day before saying, how y'all doing? The metamorphosis, the change over time speed vectors. It's getting better. Particularly when you're running at God's speed and being gentle, gentle as a kitten, furry little kittens. You know, the cat. I love cats. You know what? You know why I love cats so much? They are fiercely independent. They don't like to be controlled, do they? Do you? By something that doesn't love them? I was very fortunate when I grew up. My sister had was given the pick of a litter, and these were apparently what they called. One was called a blue seal. I'm not as familiar with these types. I just remember the name. It was a blue seal Siamese cat, really gorgeous blue eyes, and I know that it scared the crap of all the dogs in the neighborhood. I know that much. I learned that much. And then the other one was called Sooty, which was apparently a very rare cat because it was pure white, but it was not albino. And that was the most loving, kind, soulful, spiritual cat I've ever met in my life. It loved to be calm, an observer. And yeah, she was pure. She lived to be very old. I forget when she passed away, but it was for a cat. You know, when you think of the average age of a cat, she lived a long life as a cat. The feline. Ah, yeah.